Welcome to week 7 of your mobility routine. We are going to continue working on our end range isometric contractions to really help gain range of motion at our joints. So we have 5 activities to get through today, so let's go ahead and get started. So begin seated on the floor like I am, if you're able to. If not, you're free to sit in a chair or perform these standing. We're going to start off with 2 shoulder cars, and then we're going to go into those axial rotations we practiced a few weeks back. Arm straight, right arm straight, sitting up nice and tall. Sweep that arm up. Remember, as you go through these, you're trying to look for max range in every direction, especially starting right here. Get that bicep to the ear. Twist the upper arm away from the head as you continue drawing that big, smooth circle. Explore every degree, especially those parts that feel sticky and stiff. Continue twisting through the arm in the same direction to finish off your circle, then reverse. Unwind. Bring that arm back up full circle here, bicep back up to the ear. As you come across the body, really reach as far as you can across. Keep that elbow straight. Number 2, stay stiff through the trunk. Continue to twist through, rotate, control full circle. I meant to say before we started to remember those core principles of isolate the motion, or in this case, the joint. Really emphasize rotation, especially this twisting of the upper arm bone through this motion, and then controlling and owning every degree of that. Now we're going to go into some axial rotations. So find that spot in your range that is most stiff for you. Me, it's right here. I'm going to do my best to keep everything in place. I'm going to ball up my fist and flex everything in my arm into my shoulder. And now I'm thinking, get my elbow pit to rotate to the floor. And now rotate that elbow pit as far as I can the opposite direction, staying right at this point in my range of motion. Rotate down, and again, we're doing a total of 5. Squeeze that range. Rotate maximally opposite direction for number 2. Whew. Going down and in again. Find that end range and squeeze into it. Up and out. 2 more. Maximize that range every direction. Don't short yourself at all. Good. All the way in. All the way up and out. Last one down and in. Last one up and out. Good. Opposite arm. Elbow locked. 2 normal cars. Let's get through this. Bicep to the ear. Rotate. Away. Big smooth circle. Reversing that motion. Just pay attention to what you're feeling in your shoulder. Pay attention to other parts of your body that really want to help out. Do your best to keep everything else perfectly still. Now, as you do that, keeping other parts of your body as still as you can, you may notice that you have to really tense up some parts of your body. For example, when I go through this and I start pulling back this direction through this car, my whole trunk wants to go with it. So I have to actually kind of pull breath into my belly and brace my belly like somebody's about to punch me, and I just got to take it. That's what it feels like. That's what I think about to stiffen myself in the belly. I'm also kind of actively pulling my knees down into the floor to make my butt muscles contract too, and that really helps everything else stay very still. Okay, axial rotations. Find that uncomfortable spot in your range, the spot that is nice and stiff. For me, it's way up here on this side. So I'm going to find that spot. I'm going to ball up my fist, get my whole arm nice and tight, stiff through the trunk, elbow pit, down and away from my face. Whew. Up and out. We're doing 5, remember? Good. Rotate up and out as far as I can. Down and in again. Maximize the range. Don't ever short yourself. Really twist into it. See if you can get a cramp in your rotator cuff here. Down and in. 2 more. Elbow pit. Up and out. External. Down and in. Last one, both directions here. Up and out as far as you can. Down and in. Last one, up and out. It's very tiring, but the stickiness that I feel in the shoulder after a few of those definitely improves. Now at this point, we're going to go into our positional isometrics for our shoulder, but we're going to work into external rotation this week rather than internal rotation. To get into this position, I'm using a box. You can use a chair, so you can be on hands and knees with the seat of a chair next to you, or your couch, or a coffee table, whatever that surface is, because the motion that we're trying to get into is external rotation. So I can get into this external rotation by using a surface. Now everybody's a little different. You will have a different range of motion than me. I feel like I'm actually able to come down to my forearm, which pulls my shoulder a little further back into external rotation. So find what that is for you. Get your arm propped out to the side. If you need to, you can actually put something under your elbow if the stretch is too intense. If you want a little bit more stretch, you can get a towel and roll it up and put it up underneath your wrist so it actually pulls you further into external rotation. So if that's on your hands, if that's on your elbow, just find that position where you feel tension in the shoulder, and we're going to hold this for about 2 minutes. This is the exact opposite of the previous weeks where we worked internal rotation of the shoulder, this being external. You need both, because both being rotational motions are one of our core principles that we're always working of, emphasizing rotation. And again, as we hold these positions, I feel the tension kind of deep in the shoulder, actually a little bit more on the top side of my shoulder. I feel a little bit in my chest as well, but I think that's just the nature of the position that I'm in. We always want to maintain our position for the full duration of that 2 minutes before we start using those isometric contractions. Now, to prepare you for that isometric contraction, which we're going to start in about 30-40 seconds, is first taking the palm side of your hand and wrist and driving them into the surface. Your elbow stays put, remember, because nothing moves during isometric contractions. We're going to maintain that for 60 seconds, and then the opposite will be trying to pivot on your elbow and lifting your palm and wrist away from the surface. So we're going to start the first one in 10 seconds. If you need to back out of your range a little bit because it's really uncomfortable, you don't feel like you can do those contractions right here, that's fine. Back out just enough to where you feel like you can produce some strength here. Let's begin our first contraction. Always very light at first, on a scale of 1 to 10, a 1. And this is the palm and the wrist driving down into the surface. Bring it up to a 3, then a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you're pushing down as hard as you feel you can. We're going to maintain it for about another 30 seconds here for a full minute to get that full minute mark. Continue breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, doing the best you can to maintain that level of effort as well as maintain your position. Got 15 seconds left. Keep holding. You're doing good. I know you might feel really weak, you might feel really strange, you might feel tight and gunky in the shoulder in this position. 5, 4, 3, 2, very gradually relax. Doing the opposite direction. So elbow stays pinned, body stays rigid. Try to lift that palm and wrist away from that surface. This is about as much as I got here. I'm going to hold for another 20 seconds. 17, 16. Keep holding. Don't let it back down. You might get a cramp in your rotator cuff here, and that's fine. Remember to breathe through those the best you can. Maintain your position and your effort. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Take a moment, a few deep breaths. Come out of that range. Let's do it on the other side. Getting into our position, opposite arm. Find your 90 degree, excuse me, not your 90, find your external rotation position. I kind of think of it as kind of like a field goal shape. Engage what your range is. Are you able to do it from your hands? Do you need to change your position to feel the tension where you need it? Deep in the shoulder joint here. Once you find it, 2-minute hold. I'm starting mine now. I've had the tension where I want it. Again, the primary focus here is the shoulder socket. As you try to relax, this is usually a part or a motion or a position that can be very stiff and uncomfortable. And think about it. This position that my arm is in relative to the rest of my body is like the opposite of where many spend most of their days working on computers. Your arms are rotated inward towards your keyboard, palms are down. This is the exact opposite of that. So it makes sense why this would be a very challenging position for many. And it also makes sense why we'd want to spend a lot of time here practicing this motion with mobility. Hang in there for about another 10 seconds. We're going to start our first contraction. Remember, the first contraction is pressing the palm and the palm side of the wrist into your surface. Go ahead and begin on a scale of 1 to 10 at a 1. Pressing down to a 2, and a 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you're pushing down as hard as you feel you can. Good. Got about another 30 seconds here. Maintain that effort. This side isn't super comfortable for me either, but it's definitely a bit easier. I feel like it's easier to actually push down. I can push down harder on this side compared to my other. Keep driving it down. Breathe through it. 15 seconds left. Maintain that effort, contraction effort. Keep holding. 5, 4, 3, 2. Slowly start to relax back to 0. Maintain your position. Remember, we're not coming out of this. Gear up. Now you're trying to lift. Lift that lifted wrist and elbow away from the box. Oh, yeah, I definitely feel like I got more range on this side. Keep holding. 20 seconds total here. This is where you might get a cramp, but I'm asking you just do your best to stay in that position, maintain your effort, breathe through the cramp. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Take a breath. Come out of that range. To round off that targeted shoulder work, we're going to do something for 2 repetitions called a swimmer movement pathway. So seated on the floor, if you can, or seated in a chair, I'm going to have you take both hands, put them in your lower back the best that you can. And as a matter of fact, we're going to close our fists, bring the knuckles together. From here, imagine that you're just doing 2 shoulder cars at the same time. So I'm going to have you actually first, before anything else happens, you're going to lift both wrists away from the lower back. Pause. Extend both elbows. Now we're in that cars position. Unwind. Sweeping both arms up overhead. Really, really reach and even twist the elbow pits and palms back towards behind you. Hold. Rotate back the opposite way. Just think about that car's motion. Biggest circles you can, sitting up nice and straight. Once you get here, that's when you're going to close your fists, bend your elbows, bring them back into your lower back. Take a breath. One more. Lift, extend, unwind, sweeping overhead. Reverse. Just a nice way to kind of explore range, sweep through your broad range of motion after you just did some good work dialing in that external rotation with those positional isometrics. Okay, let's wrap up with some spine and hips. Join me on the floor. We're going to do lumbar cat-cow, but we're going to change up that position a little bit, and you're going to do the best you can with what your hips are going to allow here. So from here, I'm going to have you walk your knees as far away from each other as your hips will allow you to. I've done this for a while, so I can get my knees pretty far away. You just get them as far away as your hips will allow you to get them. Now, if you're on a hard surface, this can be a little rough on the knees. Just get a rolled up towel or something to place underneath them for a little bit of padding. Drop down to your forearms. Sit back towards your heels with about a 90-degree bend in your knees. Now, if you're able to get those hips far enough apart, you'll notice it winds really tight, deep in these hip sockets. This is our position. Now, simply think cat-cow, focusing in on the lower back. We've done this before, so the motion itself isn't foreign, just the new position. So think first, I'm just going to scoop my groin forward towards my nose. Hold. A couple breaths. Now reverse. Arch the tailbone back and up to the sky. Hold. Get a nice deep contraction in that low back area. Scoop the groin back forward. Now when I scoop the groin forward, it winds really tight in my hip joints. I can feel tightness in my lower back and my lower abdominal muscles flexing really hard. Opposite way. Arching back into the cow position here. I feel a major contraction at the base of my lower back. I also feel my groin muscles pulling very tight. Hold. Scoot forward again. We're doing 5 total. This is number 3. Forward, best you can. A few breaths. Don't shy away from that hip tightness. Arching back. Feel the groin pull tight for me. Feel those major contractions in the lower back. Let's do one more. Scooping forward towards the nose with the groin. Pull tight in the lower back and hips. And reverse. Good. Hip cars. But this week, we're going to explore hip cars from a new position. I'm going to have you lay on your side. Pick your right side first. Legs up like you're sitting in a chair. You can support your head with your arm if you'd like. Okay, that's how I'm going to do it right here. Now, I'm going to take this hand out here in front of me, and that's just going to give me some support because your whole pelvis, again, is going to want to move. So I'm going to actually take my hand out in front, and I'm going to put a little bit of pressure into the floor. Now, with my top leg, I'm going to think knee to elbow, knee to sky, heel to sky. Reach that foot way back. Keep the knee bent tight. Sweep it back forward. Heel to sky, knee to sky, knee to elbow. One more this direction. For me, when I do it on my side, especially when I get here, my whole pelvis wants to go with it. So this is why I like having my hand here, because if I do that, you'll see how my hand scoots. If I keep my hand positioned right there, reaching way out in front of me, that helps me keep my pelvis from rocking back. Good. Let's reverse the direction. We're heel to sky, reaching back, knee to sky. Ooh, knee to elbow. It's just different. Gravity pulls in a different way here. Heel to sky, reaching back. Scurry, heel back, knee to sky. Up to the knee to elbow. One more. Keeping that hand plastered to the floor. Using it as my indicator if I'm letting my pelvis open up. So that was 3, but I have a bonus challenge for you here. This is really tough. You're going to straighten out your leg. Let's do 1 car in both directions with a straight leg. So what does that look like? I'm going to sweep your leg forward as far as you can get it. For me, that's right about there. I'm going to tilt my toes in as I lift that heel to the sky. That foot drifts back to finish my circle. Now we reverse. From here, I'm going to pull that heel back, tilt the toe to the sky, drive that leg up the best that I can. As I come forward, I'm going to dip that toe down to the floor and finish. Opposite side. Finish this off. Hand out front, plastered to the floor. Remember, that's your indicator, making sure you're moving right. Knee to elbow, knee to sky, heel to sky. Good work so far. This is the last thing we're doing today. Keep it up. Knee to elbow, knee to sky, heel to sky. Last one in this direction. But I know what you're thinking about. You're thinking about that straight leg hip car we got to do on this side. Don't think about that yet. Focus in on what we're doing right now. Getting the max range out of this hip. Reversing the directions. Heel back, knee to sky. Heel to sky. 2 more. Last one. Okay, let's give this straight leg one a try. So, straight leg, pull that foot forward. Oh, this side's tough. Angle that toe down, sweep that foot up to the sky. Man, my leg feels heavy right now. Pulling it back behind you, finishing off your circle. Reversing the motion. Heel sweeps back, toe up. Pull that leg up, 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 up. Drop that toe down. Finish off your circle. Good work. As you continue practicing, as usual, don't forget those core principles, right? Always focus on isolating the joint or the motion, the stretch. Emphasize the rotation with your motions and contractions. And lastly, always keep control of every degree of that range of motion.